It's your girl, Miss Angie, and we are back with another Let's Talk Tuesday. And as you see from the title, we are talking about mother and daughter relationships. And so I don't have my notes today. We just kicking it. We just talking. We just, I'm going to just go off of my personal experiences and what I want my relationship to look like with my daughter. And so let's get into the video. I won't make this a long video. It's just me kind of free, just being free in my thoughts, and hopefully I hope this video can help other mothers and daughters that have maybe not the best relationship or want to continue to have a better relationship. And then there are mother and daughter relationships that are the best, that they talk to each other every day, that they have great communication. So, I just wanted to kind of put my thoughts out there and hopefully be able to shed light on, I think, a growing topic, or a topic that has been always known, but many people don't talk about it, is that mother-daughter relationship. So for me, and I'll just go off of me and my daughter's relationship currently. I definitely want to be able to be more of a disciplinarian for my daughter. I think I've talked about in past videos as far as I have spoiled my daughter. My daughter has definitely been spoiled for different reasons that I felt like, I just had to be that parent that showed up, wanted to make sure that she had everything. And I never really balanced the whole trying to be a disciplinarian on top of showing her that I love her, on top of being also, what's the word? I think the best way to work to put it into terms is like, I expect my daughter to know a lot of different things, but I may have told her once or twice, and now I expect her to be able to show up and show out and continue to do it. And we know in parenting in general, that's not always going to be the case. You have to continue to train and teach your child. I think for me, when I get upset and I have a buildup, I'm coming off so aggressive. Why didn't you do this? We talked about this. We did X, Y, and Z. And she's looking at me like, Mom, I'm still a child. And it's a lot of areas, and maybe I haven't really spent time teaching her in those areas as being a disciplinarian and understanding that I'm not playing. When I tell you to do something, I need you to do it. So with all that being said, I am just trying my best as a mother to balance that, to balance the fact of being a disciplinarian, to balance the fact of nurturing her and loving her, but not spoiling her, not for her to get hooked and feel like I have to be on or close to mommy 24/7, because she's not a baby anymore. Of course, she's 7 years old now. And so I'm teaching her to be a young woman and to be able to adapt and allow her to learn things on her own. I guess the prime example is if you continue to pour your child cereal, then when will they learn how to pour their cereal themselves? When will they learn the right amount of cereal to put in the bowl, or the right amount of milk to put in the bowl? So I definitely am trying to be better, because I know as I become a disciplinarian for my daughter, she will continue to learn and understand that mommy is not always going to be there, and to know that she can do things when I'm not there, whether it's learning how to iron your clothes. Right now, she definitely has, she has learned how to put her clothes in the washer. She has definitely learned how to, warm up her own food in the microwave. She knows not to touch the stove, key things. But even in between that is always going to be, what is that lesson where she has to continue to learn and understand the do's and the don'ts in the household. Pretty much at school, she's very good at school as far as listening to the teacher and understanding what is required. At home, I think it's just been that her comfortability in knowing how I am, and her understanding that, okay, at home, you have to give me the same respect that you would do your teacher, that you would do your grandma or whatever the case may be. Another thing that I feel is very important when it comes to a mother-daughter relationship is communication. I feel like a lot of times as a parent, you have to make sure that you're listening to your child, and you have to make sure that you're clarifying that they heard what you said. And that's a big thing. Communication is something that I feel like me and her will continue to work on, and it will continue to get better, but it's not easy. It's a journey. So that is something that I want us to continue to be, working at. I do want to get to a place where me and her can do our own personal counseling, because I want our relationship to be the strongest and be the best that it can be as she gets older. So for me, going back, for me growing up, me and my mother, we had a good relationship when I was younger. I gravitated to watching my mother clean up at home. She worked a part-time job, being a wife to my dad. Like, I seen her do those things, and it was definitely, instilled in me, and it showed up as I became, a girlfriend, and now me being a wife. Taking care of home is very important to me. She made sure that me and my brother was clean, and she made sure that we were at school. Whenever doctor's appointments came up, routine checkups, my mom was making sure that we got there. So that in itself is very important. So that was very important for me growing up, becoming a woman and wanting to show that to my kids, which I do that now, making sure that they get to school, making sure that they are clean, making sure that they are on top of their routine checkups and everything that needs to be taken care of. But even in a mother-daughter relationship, there was also its downfalls in different areas. And there were some things that I felt like I should have learned. There was a lot of discipline that I felt like, now being older, that should have happened as I was younger. And there was a lot of me getting away with a lot of different things as I was younger. And I just know now where me and my mom are at in our relationship. I want our relationship to be stronger, but there are different things that I feel like me and her have talked about this, certain things that I was just definitely hurt by, or certain things that I felt like, I wonder why our communication, or I wonder why our relationship didn't look like, the standard, what I thought would be the standard mother-daughter relationship. And I feel like between mothers and daughters, we have to understand that, of course, no relationship is perfect. I think we also have to look back into our mother's journey, which I learned that from Iyanla, because I tell you all the time, I love watching her. But she was very big on understand your mother's story. Understand what your mother has been through. Understand certain feelings that your mother has felt. A lot of times we forget that we are in the womb of our mothers before we are born, and a lot of that they have carried or felt during the pregnancy can definitely show up. I know for me, I'm a very sensitive person, and I can see my daughter is very sensitive. I can tell with my son, he has that aggressive side. And a lot of people haven't seen my aggressive side. And I pray that y'all never see my aggressive side. And sometimes my temperament, I can tell that my son sometimes has that temperament and aggressive side. So I definitely know between both of my pregnancies, like, I can tell. And I'm not going to say, like, there was, of course, when you're pregnant, as we all know, as mothers, your body goes through so many changes, and your emotions can be all over the place. And sometimes I used to feel bad, like, dang, I felt like when I had my son, I was just so mad at myself. And I had so many different feelings because I was like, I wanted to make sure that I was married before I had another child. And that's another thing, going into parenting and being as mothers. Sometimes we go through that mom guilt, and it was like, okay, I know that I'm carrying him, and I'm in my thoughts and in my emotions in the moment. It's like it was so much that was heavy on me. And I just pray that that doesn't show up in him as he grows up. But a lot of times we just have to be mindful of what we show our kids as they get older. And I saw my mother, like I said, do all of the things as a wife and as a mother, but there was still certain things that lacked that I felt like I should know. And especially, my mother was not the disciplinarian in my household. It was my dad. And I'm trying to stay on track with everything so that you guys can kind of understand the dynamic. But I feel like for us as mothers and with our kids, especially with our daughters, we have to make sure that we're being honest, number one, with our daughters about where we've been. I've always said for myself, as my daughter gets older, I want her to know the mistakes that I made in my relationships. I want her to know some of the battles that I had in school, as far as not feeling like I was able to match up as far as popularity with other kids, or a lot of comparison that I had with other women. I want her to understand a lot of that. So I feel like, yes, as mothers, we have to be open and honest with our children as they get older, and especially understanding how much they can handle. We understand that there are certain personal things that parents do not want to disclose, but I feel like a lot of that helps the child navigate as they get older. Like I said, another thing is communication. I feel like with our daughters, we have to have communication. We have to understand where they're coming from. We have to have those hard conversations about those topics, whether it's dealing with men, whether it's dealing with sex, whether it's dealing with drugs. All of those conversations we have to have with our young girls and with our sons. But of course, just going back to the topic, we have to have those conversations with our daughters. We have to understand that it's a safe place for them to come to us. We have to talk about also the birth control, and also about taking care of their bodies, and making sure that, different things that can keep their body well, and keeping up with their hygiene and doctor's appointments and all of that. We have to continue to have those conversations with our daughters. And I feel like the daughters can be able to feel more open and able to talk to us as mothers. And I feel like the dynamic would be so much better and smoother as they get older. Some situations, a lot of times, the daughter grows up and she is disconnected from her mother in so many ways, and she's hurt, and she doesn't know how to explain the hurt, and she doesn't know how to explain the dysfunction. And then we grow up and we are adults, and we're carrying the same pain, the same hurt, the same dysfunction of not being heard, of not being understood. And now we're grown adults still dealing with that inner child of, why didn't my mother ever understand me? Why didn't my mother ever explain to me this, or didn't teach me this? And so, like I said, Iyanla said it best. Understand your mother's story. Ask questions as you get older so that you guys can have that conversation. In a lot of households, there's so many different secrets. It's so much different. I don't want to make myself look like this, because I don't want my daughter to operate like this. Like, you have to live in your truth. Whatever you did, whatever mistakes you made, they need to know. Your daughter needs to know. And there's some things that you may not want to talk about, but I feel like it's important for us as mothers to be upfront and real with our daughters, because the real world is out there. The games that guys play are gonna continue. The hurt from female friendships and relationships and all of that shows up as you get older. You start to say, I can't get along with females because of this constant dynamic of non-communication, of this whole trend of I gotta be better than her, I gotta compare myself. Like, it's so much. And another thing is that we can't get mad at our mothers for the things that they didn't know. But I think for us as daughters, we can appreciate them saying, I didn't know this, and I'm willing to make the relationship right. I know for me and my daughter, I want us to have the best relationship possible, and I want her to be able to come to me and communicate with me. And that's basically my goal. And I want my relationship between me and my mother to be better. And I want us to be able to continue to build, because at the end of the day, life is too short. So anyways, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into this week's Let's Talk Tuesday. I thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to your girl's channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.